Hi, everyone. It's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer. I am really delighted to be able to share with you about repressing our feelings, especially because I had a conversation earlier today, and I was looking at repressing our feelings as those really major negative feelings that tend to come up, like anger, bitterness, jealousy, those feelings that we'll pretty much do anything we can to avoid unless they kind of catch us unaware. But the person that I was talking to this morning said, I'm realizing with all of this energy that it is giving me an opportunity to examine my relationship with trust. And that just opened up such a wonderful vista for me. I thought, oh my gosh, yes, one of the feelings that we like to stuff down and pretend that we're doing is trust. We love to say, oh, I'm trusting that everything will work out. But in this energy, you may be finding that there are times when all you're doing for trust is giving it lip service. And if you were to really dig down, you would discover that no, you're not trusting at all. You're trying to control. So let's move forward together with the agreement that we are going to completely trust Source, that we are not going to dig up our seeds to see if they've grown roots, that we are going to plant those intentions, ask that everything come forward that is for our highest good, and then move forward in a position of trust. True trust, not that stuff that we jump into and jump out of whenever we feel like, oh, maybe it's been too long. Maybe I should just check on it. Or, gosh, this doesn't seem to be working out the way that I thought it should, and I'm feeling kind of angry about that. Let go of all that and just step into heart trust, knowing that when you really step into trusting the divine and allow things to work out for your highest good, they have to. Law of attraction says that that which you put out, that trust that you're sending out into the universe, that you are staking your life on, must come back to you. But we cannot go back and check to make sure that God heard us, or that maybe ask 3 or 4 times to make sure that we did it right the first time. Just trust, and then immediately say your prayer, ask for your request, ask for the highest good, and then immediately get into the state of receiving, which is saying thank you, that whatever you have asked for is already on its way to you, and let go of the timeline. The divine does not operate on the same timeline that we do, and so often we give up right before the victory. So today I want us to concentrate on our victory. But let's look at what our guides have to share with us about repressing your feelings, because repressing your feelings cannot lead to peace of mind. And they begin, dear ones, as the outpouring of unconditionally loving energy continues and intensifies, you may feel yourselves becoming more emotional, revisiting issues and attitudes you believed you had dealt with successfully in the past, and feeling an overall sense of bewilderment and overwhelm. You may find yourselves acting without thinking and expressing rage, frustration, fear, and bitterness, only to immediately feel remorseful that you've allowed these emotions to surface. Aren't I supposed to be above all of this low, dense energy? Haven't I already cleared these feelings? Why must I revisit them again and again, and how will I ever be free of them, you ask? Many of you feel ashamed of these long-forgotten companions and may try to repress them, believing that if you can just ignore them long enough, they'll eventually sink away into the darker recesses of your mind and stay there content to be silent as long as you never allow them to see the light of day. Now, on the surface, that sounds like, hey, they'll just slink away into the darkness and I won't have to deal with this. But this energy is all about dealing with it. We've got to get proactive instead of allowing ourselves to feel like victims or powerless. One thing that I've noticed since I channeled this blog post and was really focused on repression is that there are things that I have cleared in the past that appeared to come up again. And I thought to myself, wow, I thought I had really done a good job of clearing this. I thought I had really gotten all the way down to the darkest depths and gotten rid of this. And what I found was, yes, that was true. I really had cleared that energy. I really had committed to not bringing it back into my thoughts or giving my attention to it. But there can be the ghost of the energy remaining. And this energy is saying, okay, you're about to make a huge shift, but you've got to make a decision. Do you want this old way of being to be with you moving forward, or are you really committed to what you have learned and all that you've put into practice? So these ghost energies come up, this energy that's really no longer present, but it's saying to you, this is what you were, or this is what you believed, or this is the negative thinking that you used to engage in. It's still available if you want to put your attention there. However, you can use that as your yardstick. Oh my gosh, look how far I've come. Look at all that I used to believe that was holding me back. Look at this incredible progress that I've made. No, I don't want to go back there. Yes, I make a conscious decision to acknowledge that that will no longer be part of my life. Then you are completely free of that energy. But as always, if we choose, we can bring it back up again. We can start reattaching to that old way of thinking. So you may see some ghost energies coming up saying to you, do you want to go back to the old way? It's still available. It will always be available. Or can you sit in this new place and be proud of all that you've done and really reinforce all that you've learned and recommit to moving forward with even more strength, more power, and more trust? Because the problem with allowing the old stuff to slink away into the darker recesses and not look at it is that you've entered an unprecedented time in human history, and all that was acceptable in the past must be modified and upgraded for you to find ease in the superior energetic stream that is pouring forth upon you. The coping mechanisms that served you previously are simply no longer enough. This energy that is of the highest vibration demands the highest version of yourself, or whatever is the highest version for you at any given moment. This is so important. We are all on journeys, and we would love to be the highest version of ourselves at every moment of the day. But we're on a journey. We don't know everything. But if you just commit to bringing the highest version of yourself that exists at this time, you will be doing amazingly well. As you continue to learn and evolve, you'll be asked to continue upgrading your personal energetic vibration until you become radiant beings of unconditional love. We're going to a new place we've never been before. None of us have been there in the physical. No one can tell you exactly what it's going to be like because they don't know. Ride the wave, trust, and be or do your best to bring the highest version of yourself to every situation you possibly can. And if you make a mistake, simply correct it and move on. Wow, I've made a mistake. Thank goodness I recognized it. Hooray for me. Now, how can I move forward doing more that is good for me and less that is harmful? And they continue. Therefore, up from the dark recesses come that which has lain dormant or that which has been judged and found to be lacking. This is not an effort to force every one of you to feel as though you're spinning out of control, but it is an opportunity to become the highest and brightest version of yourselves. We say opportunity because although the call goes forward to each being in physical form at this time, you may maintain your free will and you may choose to retain your mediocrity. You will, however, continue to feel pressure to improve your vibrational standing because this energy affects all that is not contained within a certain segment and is not contained within a certain segment of the population. There is no group that is special that is receiving this energy of unconditional love. Everyone is special in receiving this. Therefore, you may attempt to stand still and do no work of improvement. However, you will not be spared the feelings of frustration. This outpouring was known to you before your incarnation, and it will not stop because you now find it inconvenient or uncomfortable. So it's not going away. We must learn how to work within it. So what can you do with all the dark depths that are coming to the surface, often unannounced and at a time when you're unprepared? We suggest that you get ready instead of allowing yourselves to be caught by surprise. Yes, what is coming forth may feel unpleasant, but instead of being at cross purposes with it, examine it. Look at why you've manufactured the emotion, created a story about its formation, and have hung on to that version of the truth. And let's take a look at that version of the truth. Everything we tell ourselves we believe, and we tell it ourselves that it is the truth. But we've got to remember that if we generated it, it may not be divine truth. It's just our version of events. Examine how your version served you in the past. Did it make you feel right or superior? Did it absolve you of guilt or deal with a particular fear? So important to look at what your relationship is with this story you've been telling yourself. Once you've identified all of the ways in which the emotion and its story have served you, it's time to take a step back and become an impartial observer, as if you were outside of yourself looking at the situation, your reaction to it, and the story you created about it. Now, here's where you begin doing the work. You took a step back. You look at the story. You look at how it's affecting your life. Now you have to ask yourself, am I doing myself a service? In other words, does your reaction allow you to stay in a state of love, joy, and peace? Or is your reaction a fabrication of your imagination that has kept you enslaved to fear or another hostile emotion residing in the lowest vibration? And please don't email me and tell me I don't know how to do this. We all have intuition. When you are spinning yourself a story, there is a part of you that knows and is telling you, please stop. Please stop doing this damage to yourself. We're used to ignoring that part of ourselves if it doesn't correspond to what we want to believe is true. It's time to stop being children and start becoming spiritual adults and say, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to look at this story that I've created, this behavior that I'm continuing to engage in, and I'm really going to find out if it's serving me. If you discover that this story and its accompanying emotion have been holding you prisoner to a set of principles that no longer define you, then you must clean house. Leaving your condemnation, criticism, and anger by the wayside, begin by congratulating yourselves for being brave enough to look at the darker side of yourselves. So important. If you begin, oh, you are so stupid. Look what you've done. You just slammed the door on moving forward. Still without judgment, decide if you want to move forward with the past attitude or if you're ready to part company. Remember, we always have a choice. The Creator is not going to force you to choose the high road. They will encourage you, but not force you. Your goal is to make consistent choices that will bring you greater and greater peace of mind and peace of spirit. Berating yourselves for having some outdated opinions and feelings will not bring you peace. Allowing them to bubble to the surface so they can be examined is the ideal solution. However, you must allow yourselves to be impartial, non-critical observers who do not buy into the rage as it pours forth. Merely observe and analyze it. This is an important but difficult exercise, for it requires great presence of mind. You cannot do this while you're talking on the phone, texting, checking social media, or going about something else. Set aside quiet, meditative time to really look. You cannot go about as though asleep and deal with the darker aspects of yourselves. If you choose to be unprepared, you will be unpleasantly surprised by these dark elements, and you may even find yourselves recoiling in horror, seeking to repress them, to stuff them back into the dark hole from which they sprang. Should you react with fear and judgment, the darker aspects will continue to manipulate and control you. Wow. Understand what we are allowing. Nobody is in charge of you but you. What you allow is what you experience in your life. By allowing the darker aspects not to be looked at and cleared, you are allowing them to manipulate and control you. It is not someone outside of you. It is you that has given permission. But because it is you that has given permission, you can say, no, thank you. I no longer want you in my energetic space. Remember, face them fearlessly. Welcome them into the light and then step back and converse with them as you would a friend in crisis. Kindly, with love, ask yourselves, is this attitude, this emotion, or this story continuing to serve me? Don't berate yourselves for creating these feelings in the first place. Recognize that they served a purpose. They created for you an illusion of safety that was necessary to carry you forward to this point, during which you can safely usher them out of your energetic field. We are in a new, unprecedented time. You could not have done this work effectively in the past without incredible pain. You can do it now safely and easily. But you cannot be held responsible for acting on the knowledge that you had at the time of their creation. Remember that. No blame. You did what you thought was best. However, now that you've moved forward and now that the energy of unconditional love is conducive to a re-examination, you must choose peace of spirit or the retention of your fear. When you look at it that way, it makes it so much easier not to choose fear. Do I want peace? Do I want a life that feels good? Or do I want to hide and believe my fears? As always, every choice is up to you, but each choice brings a consequence. We must remember we are not free of the result. We are free to make a choice, whether it's good or bad, but we are not free of the consequences. Choosing your righteous anger over peace will bring only temporary relief and will exclude you from permanently inhabiting the highest vibrations of love, joy, and peace. Yet, do not fear your decision of today. Anytime you're ready to make the conscious choice to release the dark you've held in abeyance and examine it in the light of unconditional love, just as soon as you choose to move forward into the freedom of that love, the chains will drop away and it will be as if they never were. So if you choose today, I'm not strong enough to let go of this belief, but you find that sometime in the future that you're ready, there's no punishment. The chains simply drop away. You adopt the new belief system that does serve you, and it is if it never was. You will experience the consequences for the time when you were still in a state of fear. But the minute you let go of that fear, new opportunities begin to blossom. There is no punishment for making a choice based on inferior knowledge except the prison of inferiority. If you want to stay small, you have the absolute right to stay small. However, you must live a small life. There is every freedom to be gained by releasing yourselves from the self-made prison of judgment of yourself and others. Your freedom is the prize, and your peace is the result of claiming that prize. Today, rise up, recognize your power, claim your peace. Let go of everything that is no longer serving you. It is safe to do so, and you will be so delighted that you have made the effort to do just this. So, before we go into the questions, let's just look at what they've shared with us so that we know that moving forward, we all have as many tools as we possibly can to use this energy effectively. We've got to remember that the energy is not only increasing in intensity, it's bringing to the surface the old emotions and past events that defeated us. But you can put your head in the sand and say, I just won't look, I just won't look, I just won't look. Or you can try to run away. But we must understand that this energy is continuing and it's not picking and choosing. It is blanketing the world. So there really is nowhere to run. Let's remember to approach them fearlessly. This is an unparalleled opportunity to upgrade not only our energy, but our attitudes, our belief systems, and our judgments. Our judgment about our own lives, about the way others are living their lives or about how we feel about each other. But please, be prepared. Be prepared for the dark energies to surface. Pretending they're never going to be exposed is just going to make us vulnerable and weak, and it's going to slam you when you're least ready. You will feel like you're spinning out of control, and that is not a pleasant way to live your life. We know the purpose of this energy is to help us clear everything that's holding us back. And the way that we're going to do it successfully is not by running and hiding. You will not be spared the frustration because you choose to do nothing or you attempt to hide. In order to be successful, we must become that impartial observer. Take an energetic step back from whatever you're experiencing and begin a friendly dialogue with whatever is emerging. The person that I spoke to earlier said, "Oh my gosh, I'm just realizing I'm in an antagonistic relationship with trust." Now, she could have said, "Oh, I don't want to look at that." Instead, she brought it out and said, "Oh my gosh, I feel so much better. I feel so free because now I realize that relationship was holding me, that antagonistic relationship was holding me stuck and keeping me in fear." Remember, no name calling. You may not call yourself stupid, crazy, worthless, foolish, anything like that. You're never going to move forward if you continue to do that name calling that you probably engaged in the past. I know that I used to do that all the time. I had a lot of names that I called myself, and very few of them were complimentary. And I didn't move forward. If you insist on calling yourself those incredibly cruel names, they are going to become your prison. Your goal is to escape from the self-made prison you've created when you believed that you were limited. The limitations are going away. We're recognizing how powerful we really are. So it's time to get out your keys and unlock the prison door that you've been holding yourself in for so long. If you try to bully yourself into changing or releasing these lower energies, though, you're just going to become more fully wedded to them. So, if you engaged in bully behavior with regard to yourself in the past, please don't carry that forward. Forgive yourself for being a bully to yourself, and then say, how can I lovingly release this? How can I lovingly let go of these dark energies? What do I love about myself that I can focus on? Our challenge this week is to become the third wheel in your relationship with yourself. We all have a relationship with ourselves. We are an I and we are a self. Become the third wheel. Become the impartial observer that is standing on the outside saying, whoa, that was really cruel. What you just said to yourself right there, that was not acceptable. Let's take a look at what you could be saying instead that would be more productive. You want to be the quiet observer. You don't want to be the noisy one. You want to allow things to bubble up. And yet, you also want to give the self part of you an opportunity to explain why you're acting or thinking the way that you are. Well, I think this way because I had a series of teachers that kept telling me or insisting that I was dumb or stupid or uncooperative. And I just got used to thinking of myself in that way. Allow it to come up. Be empathetic. Be that empathetic listener, but extend no judgment. Just say, okay, yeah. Wow. How does that feel? Do you want to hold on to that? Do you feel that that is serving you? When you really allow yourself to listen to yourself, you'll catch yourself making unproductive statements or uttering nonsense that you know is untrue. You may be hoping to spare someone else's feelings. And so you may say something like, if somebody is saying to themselves, wow, I'm not good at anything. I want you to refrain from saying, you know what, I'm not good either, hoping that you're going to make them feel better. Instead, take the complete other track. Find something that you know they do well or that you can compliment them about and say, I really don't find that to be true. I've noticed that you do X and Y and Z really well. Why don't you focus on that? Don't degrade yourself trying to make the other person feel better. Or don't degrade yourself trying to prevent yourself from being set up for a disappointment or give the appearance of you not being as big as you are. Sometimes we tell ourselves, well, I'm not pretty enough to attract a partner that would really love me, because we're concerned that we're going to be disappointed if we don't attract that person. Why not say, I attract the person, the partner that is perfect for me, and our relationship is for our highest good. Let go of what you are not and just trust that you are everything that you need to be. Also, with the concern that you may appear superior, I don't expect that you run out and tell everybody, I'm so brilliant, I'm such a genius. How do you feel about yourself? No, you don't need to do it that way, but you also don't need to hide. If you know something, it's okay to say, oh, my understanding is this, or I can help you with that. I'm really good at that. You can still show people that you do something really well, but when you come from that viewpoint or that place of wanting to help or be of assistance, nobody's going to feel belittled by you. It's only when we get into that place, let me prove it, I want to prove how smart I am, that people become offended by you. So you don't have to play small. Just be careful with the way that you are saying what you do know. You never know when what you know is exactly what somebody else needs to hear. So you can say it gently and lovingly and still share with them. Remember, people may have told you repeatedly that you're not capable until you began believing it. Sometimes we have parents, and I mentioned teachers previously. Sometimes we have adults in our lives that believe that they are helping us or motivating us or inspiring us to do better by telling us that what we are is not enough. Personally, I have found that it just makes me feel like I'm not enough. If you have someone in your life that has done that or is continuing to do that to you, if they're continuing to do that to you, I want you to have an honest conversation with them and say, please don't say that to me. I am really working on improving myself. I know you can't see it. It's evident from your comments, but I really do not want to hear that from you. I've even had to go so far with a person who's no longer in my life and say to them, when they really started dumping, I finally said, I really don't want to have that conversation with you. I will talk with you about anything else, but I don't want to have that conversation with you. I understand that's how you feel, but I don't want to have that conversation. The person chose to hang up, and it was fine with me, but it felt so good to say, that's enough. That's enough. You are abusive. Now, I didn't say it in a mean way. I didn't say you're abusive. I didn't turn it around and try to make the other person feel badly. I merely held my ground and said, I'm not going to have that conversation. It's okay to do that. No matter the original source of a limiting belief, I don't care how powerful you believe that person to be or how much truth you think they're in possession of. It's time to examine it in the light of unconditional love, because it's not only okay to be powerful, it's now a requirement. We have a world in crisis that desperately needs powerful people of light to step up and take their place at the head of the line. That doesn't mean that you have to get out in front of a crowd. It just means that you are shining your brightest from wherever you feel comfortable, and you are making it easier for other people to look for their own light. Being a leader doesn't necessarily mean you need to run for a political office or start a company or do any of those things. It merely means I love myself enough to shine brightly, and I love the world enough to share my light with them. That's what being a leader can be. It can also be I'm brave enough, or I feel compelled to get out in front and share it, tell the world. That's okay as well. But you can operate from where you feel comfortable and still be effective. We must always remember that it's not our power that diminishes when we allow negativity to creep in. It's our ability to make a positive impact on our own life and the lives of others. So if you understand that you are always powerful, nothing can take your power away. When you try to engage in negative thinking, you will realize I am as powerful with my negative thoughts as I am with my positive thoughts. My negative thoughts will bring to me, through law of attraction, more to feel badly about, more negative things to criticize myself about, more unwanted circumstances. My positive thoughts will bring to me more to feel joyful about, more to celebrate, more to feel good about. However, no matter which one I choose, I am and will always remain powerful. You do not stop creating because you are choosing to be in the negative space. You don't start creating because you've now chosen to be in the positive space. You are always a powerful creator. The difference is in what you are creating, whether it's something that feels good, bad, or something that feels good. Playing small is trying to live the lie that you're not powerful. We can try, but it's not true, and it will become evident in the life that you're living as you bring more and more and more unwanted events into your life. And you look around and say, what the heck happened? Why do I have all this stuff? You have these negative things because you asked for them. I know that sounds cruel. I'm not trying to be cruel. I want you to understand that you can also have the choice of asking for positive things and receiving them. So my goal is to allow no one to believe that they can be made into a victim. You are so powerful that no one can force you to do anything unless you give them permission. You don't have to. There's no requirement that says, I must give permission to this bully or to this other person. So no one who is properly educated in the law of attraction and the understanding of the universal laws ever needs to be a victim. Yes, there are victims, people who don't understand, who don't know that they have a choice. But I don't want any of you to be one of those victims. So when you step into your fullness, you are embracing the truth of who you are. You're not suddenly becoming something that you couldn't be before. You're just saying, hey, I get it. I am a really powerful person. I really am amazing. Now let me figure out how to use what I have, this incredible power, to my benefit. And I just recently had a conversation with some of the local merchants. I go to the same places to buy my food. I try to buy from local people so that I know that the produce that I'm buying and the other food is as fresh as it possibly can be and is filled with whatever nutrients this particular area has to offer. And if you don't already do that, I would really advise that, because any produce or any product that is local to your area will contain nutrients or enzymes or just vitamins that will help you with the climate that you're living in. So let's say you're living in a cold climate and you're buying all of your things from a place where it's warm year round. Well, it's good to have the vegetables, but also make sure that you are getting things from your local area so that you would have what you need to exist with good health in your own climate. So anyway, off the track there a little bit, but I was speaking with one of my local vendors, and we always share stories about, what's going on with the family and different things like that. And they asked me a lot about my work. And I realized when they repeated back to me, or they said to me out of the blue, oh, so you're trying to figure out so-and-so, or I think they said, you're struggling with learning something. And I thought, oh, wow, thank you. I am holding on to the belief. It was probably about social media, because I have a lot of learning yet to do on how to use that as an effective tool. And I realized by their choice of words that I had been going on and on and on about not knowing enough about social media. And right then and there, I said, oh my gosh, I need to change that story. I need to keep reminding myself, look how much I've learned. Look at how much I've been able to do with social media. Do I have more to learn? Yes, but that's okay. I need to focus on the fact that I have had some success in sharing my message. I'd like more success, but let's look at the success that I've already received by sharing loving information with people. As I become better at understanding how you use these tools, I expect that I will have even more success. But I cannot continue to be successful if I'm going to have stories with people or share stories with people that say, oh, I'm really confused about how to do X and Y and Z. I've got to drop that whole belief and just say, look at all that I've been able to do with what I know. As I learn more, I will expect more. But look at all that I've been able to do. So I am so grateful that they pointed out to me a conversation that I was having that I didn't realize. I wasn't hearing it as I was saying it, and I was doing myself a lot of damage. Luckily, my angels allow them to say that to me. We have to remember that our angels are always going to help us, and so the minute that we make the commitment to really move forward and really be proactive in getting our talk, our stories, and our belief systems going in the right direction, these opportunities are going to come up so that we will have a chance to look at it and make a decision. So whenever something comes up like that for you, and it comes up regularly, people will say, especially my family, hey, I don't like that you're being very self-deprecating. That didn't sound nice. Don't get angry, especially don't get angry with them. They're just pointing out to you something that you're doing that's hurting yourself. Don't get angry with you. Just say, wow, didn't realize I was doing that. I really need to think of myself in better terms, or change that vocabulary, change that belief system. It isn't funny. I used to be extremely sarcastic, and sometimes that old habit comes up. It was usually sarcasm directed toward myself, and often that habit will still try to pop in there. And so I'm grateful when I'm called on that so that I can stop and say, that was not self-loving. And I need to find another way to express what I'm feeling. All right, so I've been talking for a long time. I just want to say I am standing tall now. I am owning my success and sharing it with others so that they can be successful. But by standing tall, I'm not out there saying, look at me, look how magnificent I am. Don't you wish you could be me? That's not really standing tall. That's standing like a braggart and making people feel like they don't have what it takes. But by standing tall, I am saying, it's okay for me to say, I'm proud of what I've accomplished. I'm proud of what I've been able to learn. I'm proud of what I am sharing with others. And I want you to know that you too have a special gift, something that you can share that is just as valuable as what I am sharing. Doesn't mean it will be the same thing. We don't want to imitate other people. We want to develop our own gifts. Each person, without any doubt, came with something unique and special to share. Dig in, find your gift, and be willing to share it proudly with everyone, so that you encourage them to find their gift and share their gift. So if you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be in the healing area, don't. That's not your gift. If everybody was a healer, we would be terribly out of balance. I desperately need people who love computers and who understand them and who can fix them or just show me how to get out of the snafu that I may have created by not knowing how to use the program correctly. I certainly don't want the world to be populated only with healers. We need teachers. We need people musicians, artists. We need everyone to do what they do best if we are going to flourish as a society. We are moving from the competitive mind to the cooperative mind so that each gift can be fully showcased and really admired. But please don't look at what you bring and feel that it isn't enough. If you feel it isn't enough, it's because you haven't explored its depths. I guarantee you that what you brought is magnificent and the world needs it. You may not have examined it deeply enough, peeled back all the layers to see what a treasure you are. Get busy doing that. The world will be delighted that you did. And the world desperately needs that special thing that only you can bring. So please, get busy digging into the heart space and finding what it is that makes you special. Don't worry what anybody else is doing. Whatever they're doing, they're doing. It's fine for them. Find the thing that's fine for you and share. Share, share, share. The world will be a better place because you have been willing to share. All right, now I really am done. Do we have any questions from the listeners? *2 if you want to raise your hand. I really want to hear from you if you have any concerns or questions, or especially if there's something going on in your life that is really feels very damaging at this time. Let us look at it together. I will help you get used to becoming the impartial observer, standing back from it and seeing what's really going on so that you will be able to look at it and say, okay, I think I'm done with this. I really am ready to let go of this behavior. I can see that it's not serving me. Or you may say, I'm just not ready. I just don't feel like I'm done with this. That's okay as well. There's no time constraint. There is nothing that says if you don't do it today, your opportunity will be lost. I know that there is that phrase or saying, strike while the iron is hot. If your instinct is telling you, get up and do something now, yes, you should do it. Try to follow that inner prompting whenever you can. That is your guidance. But if you just screw up and miss it, don't spend any time beating yourself up. You merely say, I might have missed that opportunity, but I think I'm ready now, or I'm at least more able to listen. I'm clearer now. Please send me that opportunity or one like it again so that I'll have a chance to act. This is not a game where the creator is sitting at a fixed point in the sky and dangling a carrot and saying, you have 5 seconds to reach out and grab that carrot. If you don't, I'm going to take it back. That is just malicious behavior that we may have engaged in with ourselves or others. That is not the way of the divine. The divine says, here is a whole basket full of carrots. Take as many as you need. And this basket will be here for you whenever you feel that you would like more or need more. We just start getting ourselves into a negative headspace, and then we can't see the basket of carrots that's sitting there the entire time. And we start telling ourselves, because we can't see it, that we are unloved, that the divine doesn't care for us, or that we are so bad or so unworthy that of course they would choose not to give us a gift. Nothing could be further from the truth. We have assigned to ourselves challenges to help us grow. They are not punishments. They are growth opportunities. Please don't look at a challenge and say, I'm bad. Look at a challenge and say, wow, I have the opportunity to become even bigger than I was before. I can't wait to get started. And ask for help. Please don't do it by yourself. For those of you who haven't already joined our group, we have a Facebook group called Heal Our Hearts. That group is available to serve you. We have wonderful admins in the group, myself included, and if you put a prayer request there, we will support you. If you share a concern, we will support you. Most of what is being put there at the moment is just uplifting material, which will also support you. But that doesn't mean that you can't join the group and then say, I'm really having a tough time. I just don't seem to be able to move through this. Please hold me in prayer, or do you have some suggestions on how I can handle this? We want you to engage in the group as much as possible. But of course, the more attention you put on paying attention to what's going right, and that is why there are so many uplifting posts and so much teaching going on in the group, the more that we pay attention to that and the less that we pay attention to whatever appears to be a problem, of course, the better our lives are going to be. So the group is always going to have more positive and uplifting information than it will be people who may be dealing with a problem. But that group is also for the purpose of helping us move through our challenges. We want to be successful. As you are successful, it makes it easier for me to be successful. As I am successful, it makes it easier for you. Every person who brings in the energy of success for themselves makes it easier for the people that they come in contact with to also be in the energy of success. We are all bridges for each other. Sometimes you're going to be ahead and really in a great space. Sometimes I'm going to be ahead. But together we can make sure that we all get to any goal that we may have identified for ourselves. And nothing is out of the question, as long as it's for your highest good. So just get in the habit of ending any of your prayer requests or any of your conversations with the divine. I ask for this or something better. As long as we are always asking, as long as we are always understanding that the Creator has that overarching vision that we do not possess because we get too caught in our little forest, then you will step out of control and into trust. And remember, that was the way I began with my conversation with someone earlier saying, wow, I'm trying to control the situation and instead of just trusting that it will work out for my highest good. So, let go of the control. The answer that the divine gives you is going to be much more magnanimous than the one you could have come up with on your own. It's going to be bigger and better. So I'd rather have bigger and better than the teeny tiny little thing I can come up with on my own. And the way that everybody can assure themselves that they will get this is just to say, okay, this is what I want. God, this is what I've figured that this would be perfect for me, but I'm going to allow you to make the final decision. You deliver to me that which would be for my highest good, because then I'll know that I got the thing that is perfect for me. So if you need to send me an email, my website is marciamartinthehearthealer.com. My email address is Marcia, that's spelled Marcia, at marciamartinthehearthealer.com, or you can just go to my website. There's a contact button, and there'll be a form there that you can fill out if it's easier to do it that way. As always, we will be here every Wednesday. If you do have questions or concerns, please, you can even email me if you feel uncomfortable talking in a setting like this. You can email me your question, and as long as it is not personal to you, or there's a way that I can answer it so that it doesn't expose you, then I will answer it and share it with everyone. If it's just something that's so personal, then I will send you an email and reply. But I always answer. So if you don't hear from me within 48 hours, you got to check your spam folder or send the request again. For some reason, it did not go through. Again, it's marciamartinthehearthealer.com. And we have a YouTube channel, same name, marciamartinthehearthealer.com. Will put this call up on YouTube, as well as other things for you to listen to. You are welcome to listen to that material as much as you like. And please like and subscribe to the channel so that as I start uploading some of the older calls that we did at the beginning of, I think it was in the fall of last year we started this. Some of those calls are now being uploaded as well, in addition to other material. So please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can always know what's going on. And the last thing before we go, the Daily Inspiration is now available only through email. I will put a few posts, scattered posts on social media, but the Daily Inspiration is something that is so important to me. And so I've just decided that I'm going to honor those people who are really committed to their journey. And that means that you would get on my email list. Just go to the home page, marciamartinthehearthealer.com there, and right in the middle, it tells you about receiving the Daily Inspiration, and there is an Inspire Me button. Click on Inspire Me, and it will take you to the subscribe page. That's all I have for you today. Just get on that email list. I will be delighted to uplift you and to share with you observations that I may notice during the week. Always looking for new ways to serve you. All right, everyone.